going to record the Zoom call. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I hope you all have an amazing start in the second half of the week. I have to admit that I'm beyond excited for this Zoom call. We are 500 people here. We're more than 200 people on the other line. And I think this is probably the most exciting Zoom call we ever had. Because today we have somebody on this call who is one of my biggest inspirations in this business. And he is not only our upline, he is not only the top earner in Juice Plus, the person who earned the most money and who is earning the most money at the moment, more than 100 million over all the years he's in network marketing. He's also the top earner in this whole industry. That means there's nobody worldwide in the industry network marketing who made more money than him and who also helped more people than him. That this is something which goes next to each other in our amazing business. And he's super busy. Maybe he can tell later what he did today. He did something really funny today so that you know he's in different levels busy. But he took some time to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes with us together. And I quickly gonna unmute. Jeff, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect. I can hear you okay. Just that you don't get confused, we have some people in a chat translating into French because we have French on the call. And so somebody is translating into French because sometimes they struggle with English a little bit. Just that you know.
Yeah, toutes les teams.
Oh, sorry, I have to unmute you. Now,
I can hear you, but there was a lady talking. I couldn't hear you.
I think it was one of the French skills. Yes, now it's perfect, right?
Okay.
Perfect. So, Jeff, thank you so much for taking your time this evening. I really appreciate it. It's a big honor for all of us that you're here, that you spend some time with the German and the French people. So, I think how can we start this call better than you just starting a little bit to share your story, because you're in this business since 30 years. You've experienced basically everything which you can experience in the business. So I think, yes, please let us have some time of your wisdom and your story, what you've had in the last couple of years.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you, number one, having me on the call here today. And congratulations with all your success. 25 years old, and 400 club, and the type of success you've had in the business. Reminds me a lot of me when I started. I was 24 years old when I joined the Juice Plus company, and that was over 30 years ago, and it's literally changed my life, not only financially, but who you become as a person. You grow more as a person, you have more capacity, you just become more, and it's just been such a blessing. Matter of fact, Lucas, I just came off of Tampa. We just had our big convention here in the United States in Tampa. I live in Sarasota, Florida, which is about an hour south of Tampa here on the west coast of Florida, and went to the Tampa conference, and we had 8,000 there. Matter of fact, I posted a picture on Facebook of Dr. Santillo, who 5 years ago I met Smokey and introduced him to the Juice Plus company, and now here we are 25 years later, 15 billion, millions of lives touched and changed around the world, not only health, but wealth-wise. And it's a really great picture, and it was great to see Smokey and so many people. My story, just briefly, and I won't spend a lot of time on it because you guys can pull it up. It's all over the internet. But, I didn't come from a lot of money. I didn't have any money when I started. I didn't have a higher education, any experience, any background. Matter of fact, my sponsor quit my very first month. He prejudged whether I was going to do anything or not. He thought this 24-year-old broke waiter was not going to do anything, and he quit and left and went to another company and left a fortune on the table. So I guess the message there is you never know who that next person is you're going to share this product or opportunity with. But what he didn't realize is, I guess the key word is I was hungry. The number one success ingredient you look for in somebody is somebody that's hungry, that has a desire, that has a want to. a burning desire. They're willing to work. They're teachable. And I was telling people in Tampa this weekend, I literally came from a very good work ethic. I was a hard worker, Lucas, whether I was waiting tables or whatever I did, I always took pride in it, but never had the right vehicle. There was always building someone else's dream with a limited opportunity for financial independence or abundance or a chance to grow and become more. And I was praying. I literally was praying to God to bring me. I was searching in life for something. And a friend of mine from Jacksonville, Florida, came to my little apartment and shared with me back then it was a water filter. And I got excited and got into the business. Went up to my very first conference, my first month. I didn't have the money for the hotel or the airfare. But look, all excuses are equal. You can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. And I said, you know what? I'm going. So I drove up in my car. I worked out in the gym, slept in the car, put the one suit on I owned, a little skinny tie, sat in the room. And I literally, 24 years old, I had long hair back then, had chills running through my body, listening to the stories in the room of average people earning above average incomes. And you know what I said when I left that meeting? They're no better than me. If they can do it, I can do it. Why can't I do what they're doing? If it's really that simple and that easy and that magical and that duplicatable, let me at it. So I came home, tore up my list of excuses, went to work. And long story short, we could go on and on and on. Over my this January will be 32 years, I've developed 41 frontline national marketing directors worldwide from the water and the Juice Plus business. I've worked and developed in over 20 countries and became the top income earner. My very first year at 24, I became the number one income earner with Juice Plus, but now I've gone on and passed 100 million, back this past year or so ago, and now became the top income earner. And Eric Worre's telling me I'm speaking at GoPro in December, coming up after Magic Johnson. He says, Jeff, you're the highest paid earner in the entire direct sales network marketing world that I know of. I don't know of anyone in 30 years that's earned that type of income. Matter of fact, in June, I was telling you, I spoke at the Association of Network Marketing Professionals, ANMP. You guys might want to check that out. It's kind of like Direct Selling Association. They have this Association of Network Marketing Professionals. So I go to Dallas and I speak there. People were blown away. They never met somebody that had been with one company for 30 years. And they were coming up to me and saying, I want to work with you. I want something solid and stable and lasting. I'm a hard worker. I want to align with you. Some of them were saying, I've been through 10 deals in the last 3 years. I can't find a home. And so I got some really good people that said, we're looking for something stable and solid and lasting. So I truly love what I do. I guess what I would say is this. When I started it was out of desperation. I was looking for things to change in my life financially. Why do I continue to do the business today? Strictly out of inspiration. I love what I do. I get to add value to people's lives. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure in life, as Tony Robbins would say. And this is rich in relationships and love and connection and growth. Aren't you the happiest in life when you're growing and there's progress and contribution? Doing something bigger than yourself, doing something that counts, something that matters. I heard those NMD stories walking across the stage this weekend in Tampa, and I'm literally moved emotionally. It brings you to tears to hear people, not the position, not the money, but who they've become in the process. So we really have just decided to, instead of retiring from your business, retire into your business because it meets all your needs, especially the two spiritual needs. Growth, you're growing, you're becoming more, there's progress in life. You don't want to sit at the table of success too long, right? If you're green, you grow. If you're ripe, you rot. You want to continue to grow, and the contribution side of it, doing something that counts, something that matters. Matter of fact, I'm coming over to see you guys in Barcelona. Just finished Tampa, then coming to Barcelona, and then in December, going to go out and do the GoPro out there with Eric. So thank you for having me on the call. I'm very excited, and congratulations once again for your success over there.
Well, I think the most inspirational 10 minutes you can ever get. You've mentioned a couple of things which lead me to the next question. One of the most inspiring things about you is I saw you in GoPro last year and the year before, and I saw you sitting in the first row taking notes. And I will never forget this moment. We were like 200 people from our team last year there. And I walked there and I looked at all the people who didn't take notes. And I saw you taking notes. And this was one of the moments where I was like, this is consistency, right? This is consistency. You know, what can you say about being consistent in the business when you're SC, SSC, NMD, Club 100 and whatever?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can show you my journals. I'm a very good note taker. And when I take notes not only as if I'm going to apply it into my own business, but I also take notes as if I'm going to teach this and change someone else's life. That I'm, the fastest path to mastery is not only in applying it in your own life, but teaching it and paying it forward. So I've always been a good note taker. Matter of fact, at all the wrap-ups that I went around, I said, look, today you're the student, tomorrow you're the teacher. I said, if you don't use it, you lose it. You want to take these notes, and you don't want this to be shelf help. You don't want to put this on the shelf. You want this to be self-help, right? You want to grow from this. You want to apply it in integration, where you integrate it and take these notes, these takeaways, these nuggets, these aha moments, and whatever new decisions or new commitments or actions or resolve, what are you going to own? Decisions shape your destiny. What are you going to say, okay, Jeff, I'm going to do this no matter what. I have absolute resolve. I'm going to integrate this into my business, and I'm going to lead. So the consistency of effort and work habits and attitude and doing the basics, doing the fundamentals never change. I'm a big believer that the concepts are constant. That'll never change. Whether it was 30 years ago when I signed up in the late 80s, we still get, what is your job description? What do you get paid for? And that's talking to people. That's sharing the story. That's building relationships. That's going out and meeting other people's needs, adding value to their lives, and creating raving fan relationships. So what's the basics? What's the fundamentals? Getting customers, building a growing customer base, building a team, building partners, duplication. Not only is the fortune in the follow-up, but the fortune's in the duplication. And then you want to build for your events, whether it's a Zoom call or whatever event you have coming up. And then, Lucas, you learn to master major impending events. Now, when I say major impending events, Barcelona is a non-negotiable paying activity. There's the paying activities, what you get paid for. Talking to people, sharing the story, getting customers, building a team, building relationships, building for events. Well, you've got the World Cup, or we would call it over here the Super Bowl of Juice Plus, coming right into your backyard. That is something you don't take for granted. You load up the dance. You get everybody there. But the concepts, the basics will never change. What changes is the techniques, the different means and ways that you tell the story. Back 30 years ago when I started, there was a thing called a newspaper where I used to advertise in the newspaper and create curiosity. Well, today, that's social media, right? People are using social media. We didn't have that back then. Back then we got excited when we could fax a piece of paper, a fax machine. We had rotary dial telephones. And, so it was just a different world. I got to be quiet. I'm in a doctor's office right now doing an IV, and the doctor just came in and said, calm down. You're getting everybody too excited here in the office. But yeah, so I have to tone it down a notch because I'm going to get worked up here. But, so I understood the concepts, the basics, the fundamentals will never change. The only thing that changes is the techniques, the different means and ways of doing the business. And you guys have figured that out, some of the different tools to create curiosity, to get customers, to build team, to create community, and these different tools that you're using. But I will tell you that the big conventions, the Juice Plus Live, the conferences, that's where I've made my fortune. That's where I've learned to load up the dance, to show up with a freshman class, a bunch of new baby distributors. And it's not what they see or hear, it's what they feel. It's an experience. It moves them emotionally when they walk in that room. and they see the Juice Plus family. They see the company with the heart. They see all the relationships and the love and the connection and people growing and all the contributions and all these things. That doesn't exist in the outside business world. It's almost like people walk in and go, wow, I didn't know in business this existed. It's like a rebirth, like a cleansing, and people become very attracted, especially when they hear the stories. But, you've got to stay consistent. We were talking about this, you and I, on the pre-call that we had. We talked a half hour before, which I always like to do a little pre-call and sharpen the sword and get really clear on, well, what's the outcome for the call and who's going to be on the call and what points do we want to hit. And one of the things, that I was sharing with you is that consistency, being consistent of your effort, your work habits, and your attitude. And, and you're going to go through different stages and cycles in your business. Some markets are doing really well and they're booming, and then they go through a cycle, and then maybe it's another market that's taken off, or maybe you've got a new team you're working with and they're doing really well. And, the greatest gift you can give somebody, by the way, is their independence. You don't want to stay there and lift their weights for them. In other words, if you and I go to the gym, I can tell you how to do the business. I can show you how to do the business, but you have to try it and you have to do it. It's called tell, show, try, do. In other words, we can't go to the gym together. I can't lift your weights for you. You've got to lift your own weights. I'm here to support you, but understand it's not my business, it's your business. But I will help you chase your business from here to China. Equal commitment for equal commitment. I work with the ones that deserve it, not the ones that need it. In other words, I make a move, you make a move. Not I make 2 moves, you make no moves. But I also understand that the majority of the people that I bring into this business are going to do this business sometime, part-time, or no time. That's just the way it is. Jim Rohn talks about it on how to build your network marketing business. 80% are just going to hang around the flagpole, use the product. Just keep them, love on them. Love them whether they do a little or they do a lot. And keep them hanging around the flagpole, because you never know when things change in their life, or they come out to Barcelona, or they hear it, or they feel it differently, or something changes. And then maybe they step up and say, well, you know what, I want to play at a higher level. Maybe I become a 15%er. But less than 5% of the people you bring in really step up and play at this level. So you got to fill the funnel up, the pipeline. You got to have enough people coming in. You might have to put 100 in to get 2 or 3 good ones. Does that make sense? Not everybody you find, there's going to be you and me that's going to be this serious. The number one question I ask people is, what do you have to do to make this business a bigger priority in your life? The number one recruiting tool is not looking up line, looking down line. It's a mirror, looking in the mirror. If it's to be, it's up to me. The biggest variable in this business is the you part. How do you feel about these products? How do you feel about this opportunity? But most importantly, how do you feel about your own financial future? You've got an opportunity to come into this company right now. And I was talking about this in Tampa. If you think about it, there's very few times in life, timing like this, where all the pieces of the puzzle come together. A world-class product, 25 years, 15 billion, all the research, all the studies, all the healthcare professional, all the millions of satisfied customers around the world. Juice Plus is world-class. People want it, they need it, and they don't already have it. We're just getting started with Juice Plus. The awareness of fruits and vegetables, all the things that we have there. Solid leadership. The company's going to be 50 years old in 2020. A great marketing system, great role models, great examples of people that are doing it not only when I did it 30 years ago, but doing it today like yourself. So the timing right now, a person could come into Juice Plus and say, you know what, this is my chance. I'm not going to take this for granted. I'm going to seize the moment. I'm going to play full out. I'm going to step up and raise my standards. And you come into this business and you get serious and you get focused. 3 to 5 years from now, you're 25 years old. By the time you're 30, you could be set up financially for the rest of your life. Financial independence. And I'm talking about residual income. I'm an example of longevity. You're 25. I was 24 when I started. I'm now 56. 30 years later, 3 decades later, and I make more today than I ever have in my business. I bet the next 30 years are going to be bigger than the last 30 years. I bet the last 30 years on the next 30 years. The best years are ahead of us, not behind us. And when you can build something solid, you can build something stable, you can build something that's lasting, where people are using a product on an auto ship month after month. And Juice Plus, Lucas, is not good timing. It's timeless. It's foundational. Fruits and vegetables are foundational. This isn't like, oh, it's good timing. These are timeless. This is something that the awareness and the timing of this is only getting stronger. It's stronger today than it was even a year ago, let alone 25 years ago. So the best is yet to come. The best years are ahead of us, but you got to stay consistently. There's no free lunch. Just because you're at the right place at the right time doesn't mean you're going to get the prize. There was a lot of people that signed up when I did that missed it. They didn't go to work. They didn't take it serious. They didn't pay the price. They didn't put in those long hours and treat this like a business. If you treat it like a business or you treat it like a hobby, it pays either way. So I said, you know what, I'm going to treat this thing, instead of whatever it costs to sign up there, 50 or 100 or whatever the cost is. What if you had to pay 10 times that or 100 times that to have your own virtual franchise? How serious would you play then? How many people would you bring to Barcelona then? How many people would you talk to every day then? What if you put $1 million of your money into this to start your own business? How would you treat it? And that's how I came into the business. Burning desire, willingness to work, teachable. And the biggest thing I understood right in the very beginning, the business is never about you. It's always about the person in front of you. I focus on meeting their needs. And when I say meeting their needs with health and their needs with wealth. Those two areas, I believe we have the answer for financial independence. And it can start part-time, flexible hours out of your home. And it could turn into something that's lifetime, that's residual income, and where you can take self-responsibility for your health. And you meet those two needs and you add value to their lives. And then you create these raving fan relationships. You've got something here that really is priceless. I mean, the timing of this could not be better. So I'm very excited to come see you guys in Barcelona.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for your time. I have one little last question, if you have 2 more minutes.
Sure.
If you'd meet the Jeff from 30 years ago, what would you tell him to not make it easier, but make the whole thing understand with a better feeling? Because you just talk about the cycles. We all have different cycles. We all experience the whole thing, the same thing. So what would you tell yourself?
Be a little more clear on that, a little more specific.
I mean, if you have one tip, I don't want the one golden tip, but if you've done the business for 30 years, is there one thing you would have done earlier? One thing you would have changed? One mindset hack you would have developed earlier to enjoy the path differently?
Yeah, of course we learn and we grow as we build the business. I truly believe this is a course in personal development cleverly disguised as a business. I truly believe as you grow, your business grows. And, really it's a reflection. Like I said, the only variable in our business is the you part. Let's look at it. Let's face this. These products work. There's no question that the Juice Plus products work. Our marketing system works. It's tried and proven. We have a proven plan of action. We have a success formula. Our leadership is solid. 50-year-old company. What is the only variable in this business? It's the you part. What books are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you feeding your mind with every day? Who are you spending time with? Who you spend time with is who you become. And I've always been a big fan of getting up in the morning, rolling out of bed, rolling into my tennis shoes, having that hour of power, feeding my mind, plugging in some Tony Robbins or some Jim Rohn or something, just to set my intention for the day. So I show up in a peak resourceful state. Success breeds success, right? I've got to inspire me before I can inspire other people. So you have got to focus on you growing as a person, and success will breed success, inspire you. I'll give you one tip. I came out of the gates and everybody got around me was like, wow, this guy is passionate. He's excited. He's enthusiastic. He's a hard worker. People, distributors don't do what you tell them to do. They do what you do. They watch the feet, not the lips. It's easier to lead than it is push people. Leading by example instead of pushing people. You go out and do it, not telling people to do it. You go out and get the most new customers. You go out and build the most new team. You're always the one that's leading by example. Does that make sense? And so as you're leading, that attracts other people. I'll give you one quick story before I finish. I had a breakthrough 30 years ago when I came into the business. I had hit a threshold, a breaking point. Enough was enough. Defining moment in time. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I didn't want to be broke anymore. I didn't want to live in that little crappy apartment and be behind on my bills in life and my promises in life. And I hit it. I made a decision. I made a commitment. I had absolute resolve. Breakthrough, defining moment. About 2.5 years ago, 2016, I came off the April conference. It was in Phoenix. My brother Paul had just died, who I grew up with. My other brother, Paulie, he had just died the year before of a heart attack at the age of 49. My dad died at 46. I came home from the conference and I met with my cardiologist, and he looked at me and he says, Jeff, I've known you for a long time and I knew what you used to look like, and I see what you weigh now and what your blood pressure is and your cholesterol and your tris and all these things. And with your family history, it's not if, it's when. You're a walking time bomb. Because I was a lot heavier, and it didn't happen all at once. Sometimes success can be a double-edged sword. All of a sudden you got the money and you got the time freedom, and you're out eating dinner every night, you're entertaining, you're eating in restaurants, all of a sudden you're in your 40s and your 50s, and 5 pounds a year started to come on my body every year over a 12-year period. And I found myself where my physical mastery had gotten away from me. And I came home after that conference and after losing my brother, and I had another breakthrough. I had another defining moment, a moment in time, reached a threshold, just enough was enough, where I was, that was it. And I got serious about my health. And I said, you know what, Jeff, why don't you get a new product story? Why don't you live the mission? Why don't you inspire you and get control of your physical mastery so people see the way you show up as an example, not a warning, where you're congruent, you're relevant, you're walking the talk. And I came back 6 months later to the next conference, and people thought they'd seen a ghost. They had to take a second look at me. They thought, that's Jeff from 30 years ago. Who is that guy? They didn't even recognize me. And I had taken off over 50 pounds, 50, 60 pounds. I'm back to a weight less than when I started 30 years ago. That's what I did, as I got serious about my own health. I had the financial independence, right? Built the business. But what happened if you take the wheel of life? If you take the wheel of life, there's a lot of different spokes in this wheel. There's financial mastery is just one area. How about spiritual? How about relationship? How about physical mastery? How about emotional mastery? Can I constant and never-ending improvement in all areas of your life? And I got control of my physical mastery, and now I've kept it off for over 2 years. Because it's one thing to take it off, right? Another thing to keep it off. And people are coming up to me at every conference now and saying, Jeff, I saw you get serious and get that weight off and live the mission and get a new product story. And now look at me. I lost 10. I've lost 20. I've lost 30. And they're coming up and then saying, you inspired me. So I inspired myself so I could inspire other people. Does that make sense? How you show up, how you do anything is how you do everything. How do you show up? What level do you play at? Would you follow you? Are you the type of person you would follow? Your work ethic, your daily method of operation, your discipline, your consistency, your focus on the pain activities? Are you the type of person that you would follow? How you show up is the most important thing. What level you play at? And that was what I had to do 2.5 years ago, was get my physical mastery. You guys will see it in Barcelona. You can see some of the old pictures on social media. The Fat Jeff. I got rid of all the Fat Jeff clothes. The good thing is I got to go out and get a whole new wardrobe. And I went out today and picked up a brand new Lamborghini Bentley, or the Lamborghini SUV. I brought my wife the Bentley SUV, and I had to get one for me too. So I got the Lamborghini.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you honestly so much for your time.
Yeah.
I think everybody's excited. You can give him a heart in the chat. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. We see you in Barcelona, and yes, thank you.
All right. I look forward to seeing you. All right, guys. Love you guys. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, the Juice Plus family. All right. Bye-bye.